All right, well, we're back, Level Up Grappling Podcast, and it's time for some more technique talk. So, Coach Adam and I are here every month to answer the most pressing technique questions. We really don't care how absurd they are. If they are that absurd, we're going to tell you they're absurd. Maybe we'll hammer you a little bit, but we're still going to answer those questions. And I do want to start thanking some of our most recent sponsors to the show. Very important that as the show develops, we get people on board that are helping us out there influencing, one of which is Rejuve Anti-Aging in Rancho Santa Margarita, California. Jason Hughes, hit him up. Give him the Level Up Grappling code, which is I want my Level Up Grappling discount. Tell them you were referred by Level Up Grappling Podcast for a discount on all services at Rejuve Anti-Aging. I can't thank them enough and endorse them enough. They were the guys that fixed my shoulders. So now Coach Bryan has two very working shoulders. As much as I appreciate the shoulders being better, I'm still very careful when I'm on the mat. So don't try and crank my arm or my shoulders, please. But my shoulders are much better. So get to Rejuve Anti-Aging in Rancho Santa Margarita. The link will be in the description. So you can get your discount on all services at Rejuve. Okay. Next, we have SpartanCans.com. Don't do www, just put in SpartanCans.com. If you want to get some of these cool cans, you could get yours custom made as well. So I have the PCI cans, but you can do whatever you want. Now, the PCI cans look super cool. So if I were you, I would grab yourself a PCI can, but if you want your own logo, get your own logo done. And we have a discount code for them as well. It's LUG, L-U-G, for Level Up Grappling. Just go on there to SpartanCans.com. It will redirect you to their Spartan Designs website. You can order directly a PCI one, or you can get whatever logo you want done. These are laser etched. These things are badass and highly, highly recommended. And third, last but not least, is a new sponsor to the show, Road Gears Motorcycle Gear. So ROAD Gears with a Z, GEARZ.com. Put in LUG as your discount code for 20% off your purchases. And their stuff is fantastic. I just got a pair of their riding jeans, CE approved riding jeans, and they are awesome. They're stylish, they fit well, Kevlar lined. You got CE approved armor in there. They are so comfortable. Some of the most flexible, functional riding jeans I've ever had. They're not bulky. Some of these are way too bulky. These are nice. They fit great. They look great. And nobody would ever know that you're in a pair of riding jeans. So highly recommended.
And before we go any
let's
further,
get to the technique talk.
hang on,
Yes, sir.
Brian. I've got an announcement. Ooh. Yeah, special. So, in line with the conversation about sponsors, a new sponsor will be coming on in 2026. He has been a sponsor of mine personally for a long time. Shiai Geese, beautiful judo geese and BJJ geese, can be custom done, name embroidered on them, all that sort of stuff, lightweight, really comfortable, very good quality. Also belts, he done a beautiful black belt for me, BJJ black belt with the name embroidery and all that sort of stuff. Very, very cool stuff. We will have a discount code for LUG listeners. So get on it. It's really quality stuff. It's none of the cheap Pakistan stuff. It's actually good quality. Very, very nice gi. Mid-price range, a couple of $100 Australian. Get your discount. Brings it down a big whack. We'll be looking after Level Up guys. We'll have more news on that in 2026. So keep an eye out for it, guys.
Love it. Yeah, we got, just so you guys know, me and Adam have a lot planned for you guys in 2026. You have no idea. So just get ready, because what we plan on doing with Level Up Grappling is kind of blow your minds. And it's going to level you up even further. So be ready for that. And with that, let's get into some of these technique questions. I'm going to go backwards here, if I may, Adam. So this is kind of an interesting one. It's kind of charming. That's me being nice. What do I do after I snap down and go behind? Come on.
Whatever you want, really. You're in a pretty cool position. I guess the first thing is do something. If you sit there, the guy's going to sit out on a switch, out on a standing switch, whatever. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to be simple, just keep spinning, go behind, keep spinning in the same direction and mat return him. Yeah, without lifting. You can just basically spiral him straight into the mat. Or you can put that outside leg against his hip and lift him and mat return him. I can back suplex him. I can drop down and ankle pick him and face plant him. There's so much stuff that you can do. I mean, work it out. I guess you're in a
Versatility is key.
Yeah, you're in a really great position. You've snapped him down, you've gone behind and you've made it to that position. There's so much you can do. I mean, if you're talking from a pure wrestling point, I would be mat returning him, in the biggest way possible. Especially if he's bent over, trying to defend the suplex, just mat return him. Hoik, outside thigh lift, boom, dump him. Look, it's a question, how long's a bit of string, isn't it? It's almost the same. The options from that position is kind of like saying, what do I do if I get someone's back in jiu-jitsu? Well, pretty much whatever you want.
Control him, yeah.
Yeah, control. Mat return, ride the shit out of him.
Yeah, the way I like to teach it, I guess you can say, to make it simple in terms of using the least amount of strength, is I love putting pressure, hinging the hip, and hitting a suck back for the mat return.
Yep.
What I see a lot of times, you see a lot of teenagers here in high school wrestling here in the U.S., their hand positioning is incorrect. So I think a lot of times what's happening when you're asking this question is typically what I think you're doing is you're taking an S grip too high, and instead of being at the hip, you're all the way somewhere on the belly and you're flopping around and you're trying to push forward and you don't realize, or you're not understanding why you can't get them to the ground. You're like, well, what do I do? I'm behind. And you're just trying to pull up on somebody. You're pulling up. So here's something, a food for thought, something you can try. This is something I like to do. It's a very easy tilt. Now, the way I'm going to describe this is in two ways. One way is the way you have to do it legally in folk style wrestling here in the U.S. because you cannot grab a 2-on-1. So my preference is I grab a 2-on-1, I grab the arm and I tilt. I suck back and tilt towards the arm that I capture. That drives them right down, and then I just ride them. I take my ride and I keep them pinned down, belly down, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, in the U.S., with folk style wrestling, you cannot grab the arm that you're tilting to. You can't drop them on that pinned arm. For whatever reason, I don't know. They changed the rules. They try and pussify it too much because they go, oh, you can't break fall if you grab it. I don't give a shit. But because a lot of you are doing high school wrestling and folk style wrestling, you can't grab that arm. So my suggestion is going to be to take a gable grip, palm up at the hip, on the outside hip. And so I want your blade against the hip, and you are going to take your gable grip across where you're cutting the hip, and you're going to ice cream scoop where you're scooping the hips towards you to hinge them over, and you pull them backwards. So as you're pulling them backwards, they're falling onto their heels instead of them planting where they can quad pod or tripod, whatever. So they have no base. And once I do that, I am tilting to the side of the hip that I am breaking. So once I do that, I suck them back and I tilt to that side, and it's a very easy, believe it or not, it's a very easy mat return. The key is having an efficient mat return from your go behind. So make sure you are breaking the plane of their hip in order to reduce their stability, and dump them. And once you dump them, ride the shit out of them. It's pretty simple.
That's a folk style thing I want, which I don't do folk style. I don't claim to do folk style. I'm a freestyle wrestler. For me, if I've gone around behind, depending on where I land, but I do want to agree with you there, Brian. Like, I think the bane of my existence, I see a lot of wrestlers today, and MMA fighters that are doing wrestling, like using wrestling technique. They don't waist lock. Yeah. They almost do a reverse gut wrench. They're hitting that same spot under the floating ribs there, and it just allows the hips to move too much. So people are going behind, and that hip move, and they can step around behind legs, step out, sit out, switch out, standing switches, all that sort of stuff, because there's no control on the movement. My favourite technique for when I go behind someone, especially if I get right behind them, so like picture, I've got them around the waist, literally butt to butt sort of thing, I'm right behind them, is I will keep stepping right around, step underneath them, and I suplex them over the top. Like, boom, like I'll get the waist lock, step around that side, and then up and over. And it's a huge move. It's a high amplitude throw in freestyle. We get big points for it. And it's super easy to catch when you come around behind someone really well. It's cool. It's a great move. But for, I guess, less experienced wrestlers and stuff, control the hips. Make sure that you're waist locking correctly. Yeah, that's below the hip bone. Mm-hmm. It's underneath the hip bone, so that when I pull my blades in, it's hitting up into the bone. Yeah, I don't want it above the hip bone. If you're above the hip bone, you're too high. It's not a waist lock, it's a body lock. Yeah, it's a different technique. Get around, get under those hips. And a simple way of doing it is, once you go behind and you've done that, if you don't want to lift anybody on it, just do an outside hook. Yeah, I've come around behind him. So let's say I've snapped down. I've moved to my right, come round behind him. I use my right leg to hook his leg and just face plant him and ride him. It's really simple. And you want to get any more technical, once you get them down there, you're attacking the crotch. Yeah, get in there with that high crotch grip, and you can move them where you want them.
I think the thing that's key with everything that you just said is how you're hitting that waist lock.
Mm-hmm.
And people are missing controlling that hinge point. It is something that I see. It doesn't matter how many schools I go to, how many clinics I do. I see this mistake with virtually 100% of the wrestlers.
Same. Every wrestler here, I say, take a waist lock. They will do a reverse gut wrench up under the ribs there, up under the floating around the abdomen. Mm-hmm. There's no control of the hips. You're not controlling the anchor points. The whole lower tier body is now movable. The minute I drop that down to the hips, the lower tier body stops being movable.
Yep.
Guys, learn to waist lock properly.
That's something that you have to. That should be, you guys should be drilling the shit out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Before you do anything else, before you're looking at, I don't care if it's a suplex, however you're going to mat return, I don't care. If you do not understand what this point that Adam is making, how critical it is to be mindful of your waist lock. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm sorry. No, all of it's a moot point.
The minute that my lower body is capable of moving, and that comes from my hips, if my hips can move, my hips aren't being controlled, I can move my feet, which allows me to standing switch, all that sort of stuff, and keep mobile and keep my pressure back against you. I'm going to break that grip. I'm going to get out. You're not going to get the mat return. You're not going to get the takedown. The minute that you immobilize my hips, suck them into your hips, really keep it tight, get on the bones, just underneath that hip bone. So what sort of the crotch area, it's always attack the crotch. Yeah, that's the point for the lower body. Get it across the pelvic bone. Yeah, really low on the hips there. Think of the low-cut jeans from the 80s, that the girls used to wear, that the thong sticks out of the top. Yeah, the waistband of those jeans are actually the perfect spot to waist lock someone. If you keep that sort of image in mind, oh, that's where I need to hold, you'll always
I
be
have the image. Big fan of that image.
Yeah. Aside from that, if you can get below those hips, and really hook into them, those hips, that waist lock, the waist area, you're going to control the lower body. Their mobility is going to be not there. They can step their feet, but they can't move anywhere. Their feet can move, but they can't move their body anywhere because I'm controlling that lower body drive point. Once I've done that, I can take them down however I want, really.
Yeah. Very, very, very important. I mean, that's the key right there. That's the secret to your success. And like we've talked about, I don't know how many times now on this show, the magic is in the mechanics, not the moves. So you guys don't need to be collecting moves and techniques. You have to understand the mechanics of this and refine your mechanics. Start with being cognizant of what the mechanics are and drill the shit out of the mechanics. Then you'll see how easy everything is. Then everything is open to you. But you have nothing. You have no open doors if you don't have your mechanics down. Period. End of story.
And that goes for any technique. Any technique in grappling is the same. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. Yeah. If you don't know the mechanics, you don't understand the biomechanics involved in the body, it's never going to work.
Okay, next question. And of course, you're going to love this one, so feel free to talk as much shit as you want. How do I set up my timing to shoot?
I wonder, the people who ask these questions, do they have coaches? Because if they do, they might want to ask their coach. And if the coach doesn't have a good enough answer, question the person coaching them. Timing on shots. Timing. I don't even like the term setting up timing of shots. I don't set up the timing of shot. I set up a shot. Yeah, unless we're talking MMA where someone's firing in at me and I time that entrance to take a shot. If we're wrestling, it's very rare that anybody's going to overreach like a punch. If you're wrestling good wrestlers or somebody who knows what they're doing, no wrestler's going to be way over his own toes like a punch and stuff, and you have to time that to get underneath it for a shot. You should be setting up your shots with angles, how to cut an angle, head control in the clinch, inside tight, moving the hands and the defence there. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 defence, upper body defences out the way, and then shooting. And that comes with cutting angles. If I'm shooting straight ahead and I've got to get past all of this, see in the camera, look, there's here. I pass that, then I've got to get past here. I pass that, then I've got to get past here. Then I pass that, I've got to get past here in order to get to my hips. Once I do this, the shot's open. That's all you've got to do. You've got to move all this business out the way, then commit to the shot. There's no timing involved. It's not about timing. It's about making the opportunity to shoot. This should be basic wrestling, 45-degree angles, 90-degree angles, 180-degree angles. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about a 45, drive double. Yeah, I'm talking about a 90-degree angle, short shot. I'm talking about a 180-degree angle, a throw by, then shoot. It's basic wrestling. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not about timing. If you move the person, cut their angle, throw their balance off, penetrate correctly, and commit to the shot, there's no timing involved. The timing should be all at once. That's your timing, I guess. And it depends, I guess, on the context of the question. If you're talking straight wrestling, it's about setting up a shot. If you're talking MMA, then yeah, timing's a different thing. Yeah, that's where you shoot off punches. It's a different thing.
Yeah. So if we put it in a wrestling context, I think here's what's happening a lot of times. So I can put this a little bit more contextually. There's a lot of really bad coaches out there And at the same time, let me not use the word bad, but incompetence in terms of managing their vision of a room and explaining again mechanically what needs to happen. If you have a room with 20 plus wrestlers, it's going to be very hard to manage everyone individually. Now, the best way to manage that is by repeatedly demonstrating micro drills in terms of understanding mechanically what needs to be done. So what you guys need to listen for are the cues that Adam just gave you, one of which is how do you cut an angle? How do you maintain head control? How are you using your hand fighting for your setups? Now, one of the things that I've noticed, which is very, very common, is the fact that a lot of these kids, because these are questions coming from the US, they're bent over in the weirdest ways you can possibly imagine. And when I do clinics, I tell them all the time, you got to stop bending over like that. You're setting yourself up for a front headlock all day long. They think they're going to shoot like that. I'm like, you're not shooting like that, dude. You're both bent over, and I call it the Baptist dip. They're all bent over in such a weird, awkward way. I go, you do realize you're giving me a front headlock. I'm wrapping your neck up every time. So one of the things you need to think about is if you have somebody that bent over, why are you so insistent on shooting on them? Take their freaking head. Wrap them up, take their head, and be done with it.
Or like the last question,
There's
snap
this
them down and go behind.
Fucking snap them down, go behind, or snap them down, drive them to the mat. You know, it's so easy to snap somebody when they're that far bent over. Why are you worried about shooting? Okay, but if you are setting up shots, right? You have to do what Adam said. Work your head position, work your feet, your movement, your footwork, your angles. Okay? There's a lot to this where you have to be constantly working to get there, but it has to be based on your mechanical understanding. You're missing your mechanics and you're just thinking about how do I do this move? Ultimately, the question is how do I do a move instead of how do I make my mechanics solid? And you're going to see a constant theme here that Adam and I are always talking about. You're focusing on the wrong thing. You have no mechanical understanding and you're just jumping into something. I don't care what it is. And especially something like a shot, which most people are overcommitted. You have to set up your mechanics first. You're not drilling your mechanics. And that's going to lead us into the next question. Ironically, what are good solo drills to practice your shots without a partner?
Get a wall. Shoot at the wall. Penetrate.
Shoot at the fucking wall.
Stand off a wall. Take your penetrating step. Do your shot. Make sure when you're shooting at a wall, and this is why a wall is good because it corrects that leaning over business. Because if you shoot like that, you're going to go head first into the wall. Okay, so it's really good, especially a brick wall or something. It's great because you only do it once before you remember to lift your head. Yeah, so we want to shoot into the wall and then we want to slide up the wall. You know, when I do that drill, I do it here on a brick wall, like a solid concrete wall. I shoot into the wall and slide up the wall. And I mean, I'm getting that far from the wall. My chest is hitting it and I'm sliding up it. Penetrate, shoot, slide up it, penetrate. And you keep doing it on a brick wall. Very, very soon, you'll learn to do this when you shoot. Yep. That's what you do, guys. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Sorry, go on, Brian.
No, go, please.
I was just going to say, if you don't have a brick wall for some reason, or you're not keen on shooting against a wall, you know, which some people they get a bit freaked out by when they're first learning, and you want to build the strength for your shots to complete shots and stuff, get a heavy kick bag. Yeah, the big 6-foot kick bags. Yeah, everybody's seen them in a gym, the big kickboxing bags. Shoot on that, shoot, get right against it, so your head, chest, everything against it, then lift the bag off the ground, pull it back there, do it again. And just keep doing that. You know, do shot walks, just shoot one after the other, after the other, after the other, up and down the mat. Mm-hmm. That's going to build the strength in the hip flexors. It's going to build the strength in the quads. All of those are solo drills. You don't need anyone.
No, you don't need anyone. Something else you can do is get yourself a good set of bands. Like, say, as an example, the Dopamino bands are good. There's other brands out there. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them in most sporting goods stores. Different types of bands. Wrap the band, put it around your waist, and just keep repping it out over and over again. You can tie them to anything. Mm-hmm. You can tie it to a tree if you have to. Try it to a pole. There's poles everywhere. Tie it to the pole and just keep shooting out from the pole and keep that structure. My other suggestion would buy yourself a stability ball. You can get one nowadays for like $5. Blow it up, put it up against the wall. If you're afraid of running into the wall, use it. I use it with my son all the time and with students. I have him go right. We drive right into that stability ball up against the wall, into your chest. You can use it to get your head alignment proper. I have videos of it on the PCI channel as well as the Level Up Grappling channel where you see my son doing the level changes with his head against the ball, against the wall. Why? To build his stability and to build that level so he's not dipping his head, right? Very, very important. And this is something you can do it for hours. Mm-hmm. You know, you'll see, because it'll correct your stance. Because if you're too in line and you're not staggered properly, you're going to fall over. And it really helps you build your balance, your stability, and it helps you build that level change properly and your penetration steps.
So the three things
that not difficult
that I teach, and this is an important part for me, I think, is level changing. We level change at the knees, not the hips. Yeah, please, guys. Level change at the knees, not the hips. We don't bend the hips to level change. We bend our knees. Our penetration step, we land on the heel. Don't land on your toes and hit the handbrake. Land on the heel and roll onto the toes as you're going forward. Okay, that's important. The other thing that I would really highly recommend, and all my guys do it here at the start of every session, shot drills, but from angles. Yeah, if you keep shooting straight, that's all you're ever going to do. And to tell you the truth, a dead straight shot at an opponent who's dead straight at you is very rarely successful. Most of the time, they're going to down block, wrap you up, either flatten your face first and start riding your back, go behind and ride the hell out of you, or they're going to turn you over and pin you. It's pretty simple in that sense. I'm not a believer in shooting in a straight line. I think that has come about from people's watching UFC and all that sort of stuff as well, wrestlers, and power double. Yeah, it's like a rugby tackle out here. And they consider that to be good wrestling. Now, the power double has its place, no doubt, as does the drive double, all that sort of stuff. But for shots, what I term a shot, where I'm changing levels, stepping forward, penetrating step, driving onto my knee when blasting through someone, I would never do that in a straight line, ever. You know, the last time I saw it done was Ben Askren doing it against Jorge Masvidal, and see how that worked out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a straight line. You shouldn't do that. So when you're doing your shot drills, especially with the bag, yeah, because it's hard to do on a wall, of course, because a wall is a straight line thing. That's more about getting the actual technique of it right. But when you're on a bag, you should be moving around the bag like you do if you were hitting it. Step out to the right, switch your angles, shoot in, get the shot. You know, switch out to the left, change which foot forward, shoot in, short shot, long shot, shoot off the front leg, shoot off the back leg. You know, you've got to mix it up. It's really important. We have a drill here where we just have people, my wrestlers, will stand on the mat and they'll just be throwing angles and shots and then back up and straight into a 180 going the opposite way and switch steps and then shooting. all cut from angles. It's just you've got to learn how to do it. And these are all solo drills. You can just build it and build it and build it. I guess a solo drill is only as limited as your imagination, really. It's about being creative whilst keeping the mechanics in mind. That's all.
Yeah, agreed. That parlays into the next question. What are the best exercises I can do to build more explosiveness and muscle?
Two exercises. Two exercises, all the only exercise you really ever need, in my opinion, if you want to build strength and stuff like that without having a weight gym readily available. Yeah, do a Hindu squat and a Hindu push-up. Do both of those, you'll have explosiveness, you'll have strength, you'll have stability, core strength, everything. Those two exercises. If you can do 100 Hindu squats and 100 Hindu push-ups, you're a beast.
Yeah.
It's the
Carl
simple.
Gotch used to do
500 or something, some
he
crazy.
teach 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
And
was 500 of each.
yeah, and those two exercises, they will build everything that you need as a wrestler. They really will. The only thing I would add to it is neck bridges. Yeah, build that neck strength. But aside from that, for just your body, Hindu squats, Hindu push-ups. Look, if you don't know how to do them, look them up on the internet. I'm sure there's a YouTube video. I'm sure there's 100. Look them up, learn how to do them, and start doing them, and see how far you get. Most people struggle doing 10, and these are fit, reasonably fit, normal people struggle doing 10 Hindu push-ups if they're done correctly.
Yeah.
But if you get them down, you get the technique down of it.
Start slow.
Yeah. Don't kill yourself. Do 5. Do 2. Build up.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Build up. It's really about building consistency. One thing I'll say is explosiveness does not equal muscle mass. And the question is a bit misleading because I think the person asking the question thinks that if they have big muscles, they're going to be explosive.
No.
And it's just simply not the case. No. You don't have to have big muscles to be explosive.
No. And if you want explosiveness and you want to train literally
your muscle fibers.
Yeah, if you literally want to train for explosiveness, which comes from those fast twitch muscle fibers and the ATP CP system in the body. If you want to promote that and try and build it and improve it, everybody's born with a certain amount of muscle fiber, fast twitch, slow twitch. That's never going to change genetically. You can increase your ATP CP output, which is all about explosive power. It's the first 2 or 3 seconds of movement. Plyometrics, jump boxes, man. Yeah, jump boxes. If you don't have a box, the frog jumps. Yeah, frog jumps. Squat down, hands between your legs, and just dive, and just keep doing it up and down the mat. It creates explosive power. It's the same thing. It's a plyometric jump.
Yeah, that's really all you need. And, the only thing I would add to that would be, and you can do this anywhere, is just do very short sprints. It's just sprint for 10 seconds, go all out, and then, walk yourself back. You can do some frog jumps back or whatever, sprint again. Mm-hmm. As you do this, you're going to build over time. And really, at the end of the day, consistency is key. Do a little bit every day. Build yourself up. If you could do this, what Adam was saying, if you can start 5 minutes a day, you're going to see a massive improvement in short amount of time.
100%.
Start with 5 minutes a day, then build yourself up 10 minutes a day, then 15 minutes a day. If you can do that consistently for 15 minutes a day, ultimately get to something like 15 minutes a day of these types of exercises, you will be a freaking beast.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that simple. You don't need a lot. You don't need to go to the weight room and bench press 375 pounds. It's not going to help you.
It's about functional
It's
strength.
really not.
It's about functional strength.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as grapplers, we rely far more on functional strength than compound movements. Yeah, so like going and bench pressing is great. It'll give you wonderful beach muscles, and and look, it'll strengthen the joints and stuff like that. And it's great exercise, great for you. I recommend everybody weight train. But if you're looking purely to put muscle mass on, functional muscle mass as a wrestler, and have explosive power as a wrestler, yeah, the weight room's great, but add these on top. Yeah, plyometric exercises and calisthenic bodyweight exercises. That's what you're working with as a wrestler. You're working with your own body weight plus your opponent's body weight. Yeah, you need to have the functional strength, which is what you get from like sandbag training and that as well. You know, like get an old heavy bag and lift it up off the mat, put it down, lift it up off the mat, put it down, and do it in this motion. With a massive heavy bag is the same as lifting a dead weight of a human, which is what we do in wrestling. It's what we do in all sorts of grappling. You know, the problem that I find when you're weight training for grappling is that weight training, because everything is stabilized. Yeah, like if you're doing a bench press, it's on a nice straight bar. It's perfectly balanced on either side. You've got a nice solid surface to lay on when you do it. That all changes when it becomes grappling. It all changes when the person or the thing that you're lifting is struggling.
Yeah. And the other thing that people need to consider is that when you are doing these types of body weight exercises and building this explosiveness, it's important to build your balance and realize that you're never going to be consistent on the same side, right? Like it's not going to be equally balanced, left side, right side, because you're always going to be one-sided dominant. So how to learn to balance that when you're doing this is incredibly important. A lot of times when we're pushing against something that's equal on both sides and you're trying to do it like certain machines at a weight room, or like again the bench pressing and stuff like that, you think that that's helping you, but the reality is when you're wrestling, that's not how it is. If you're one-sided dominant, so you have to know how to manipulate that, right? How am I pushing? How am I pulling? How am I stepping? How to build that. And dude, those box jumps or anything like that, the frog leaps, incredibly, incredibly important. You're going to notice and you're going to be mindful. It's really being mindful of that. You're going to see, oh, I'm pushing off more with my left side than my right side, or I fall to one side more than the other, or I stabilize with my right foot more than I do with my left foot. Be mindful of all these things, and also be mindful. And I see this a lot. Be mindful of your feet, your placement. Make sure you're not rolling out on your ankle. I see that a lot. Even when to get into the boxing side of things, I see people that they look super explosive on top, but I watch their feet and I see with this, like their lead foot, I see it a lot of time with their lead foot, they're rolling out on their ankle. If you're rolling out on your ankle, what is that? The supination, where you're kind of rolling on the outside, you're not going to have the same amount of stability. So really focus also on little exercises that can build your ankle stability. Okay. Believe it or not, that's going to help you tremendously.
So there's a gadget that you can get. It's a board with like a little dome on it. Yeah, that you pump up. It's the same as an exercise ball. Yeah, it's a flat board with a little half exercise ball thing on it that you pump up, and it's squishy. You put it on the ground and you stand one ankle on it and you balance on it. Yeah, and it's great for all the stabilisers in the ankle and the knee. Yeah, I reckon I personally believe anyone who does any stand-up grappling, especially wrestling, judo, sambo, should all do them. They should all be using it because ankles and knees, trust me, as someone who's wrestled for near 50 years now, my knees are shot, my ankles aren't great. It's because I was never taught about all of that stuff. Yeah, it was all about just get stronger, just get stronger, just wrestle, just wrestle, just wrestle. And now the stabilizers were never really worked. Yeah, I had great musculature in the legs and everything, but the knee stabilizers weren't worked. The tendons in the knees and that weren't worked. Of course, now it's a lot more modern. We have all these gadgets and understanding, and you guys should be taking advantage of that. Work stabilizers. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about with stabilizers, look it up on the internet. Stabilizer tendons of the joints, and you'll be able to see and find exercises that will do that, especially ankles and knees.
Yeah, I think the education we have about that now is more than we've ever had. So, like you're saying, Adam, to really kind of educate yourself on that, there's so many videos on YouTube you can watch free of charge about how to build stabilization in your joints. Um, you can't ignore it because it will help you with your explosiveness. You have to learn how to stabilize, uh, and building that stability will only enhance your explosiveness and enhance your explosiveness safely because you don't want to get injured. So safety is key, and safety starts with mindfulness and stability. And this is ignored. This is something that I think is oftentimes ignored. We're so focused on boom, just bigger, stronger, faster, and not really getting to the root of how do we build that stability first. Okay, here's a question for you. How do you deal, and this is, I'm going to get into some jiu-jitsu questions since we have a wide audience. So this is a jiu-jitsu question. How do you deal with bigger, younger opponents? I'm smaller and older and do okay with them, but I feel that I still get stuck. So how do I deal with somebody that's bigger and younger?
Carefully, like legitimately carefully. Are we talking about someone who's bigger and younger, of the same rank? Are we talking higher belts? Are we talking lower belts? More experience, less experience? There's a lot of factors involved there. If it's a younger, bigger, stronger guy of the same experience level, rank, there's an old saying, all things being equal, youth and strength wins. I don't know what to tell you. If you're like me in your 50s and a black belt, and I'm grappling a black belt who's the same size as me but 30 years younger, I'm having a hard time. It's going to be a long day at the office for me. That's just a fact of life. And all the marketing in the world are saying, well, no, it doesn't really matter if you're older and, jiu-jitsu, or you can do anything with jiu-jitsu. That's true if the 25-year-old, 200-pound guy has never grappled before and you're a black belt. Absolutely, that works. But if that 25-year-old, 200-pound guy is also a black belt, it's going to be a big day at the office. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to tell you on that one. That's just the facts. It's a harsh reality, but it is a reality. I guess you need to, if I put into a jiu-jitsu context here, it would be a case of trying to always be the guy on top. Nobody wants to get crushed by a younger, bigger dude. Try and always look for the top position. Be smart, control. Don't let them control your head. I don't know. It's the basic stuff that you should do on any situation in that sense. But if I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. If they're all things being equal and he's 30 years younger and 50 pounds heavier, you're probably getting belted. It's not a reality that people want to face in the grappling world, but it is a reality.
I think here's what I would say to that. In addition to what you were saying, because I think everything you were saying was spot on. Two things. One, I always focus on the hand fighting. So bigger, stronger. I really make sure I'm hand fighting and I control their hands, so they can't grab me where I don't want them to grab me. That's the first thing. The second thing, and I know this is always ignored because there's still a massive amount of egos out there. Tapping is your friend. I tap every day. I am incredibly mindful, especially when it's younger belts, not just youth, but also white belt, blue belt. I am very mindful that these are the people that can hurt me and injure me. So I'm always ready to tap. I do not put myself in compromising situations to try and blast out or work out of something. Tapping is your friend. And there should be no, this is not a mixed message. You know, you have some jackass who's like, I tapped out this brown belt today. Ha, 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 ha. I know I'm getting better. No, stop. There's no, like Adam was saying before, I think before we even started recording, there's no medals in a training session.
You don't lose, you learn.
You should be ready. No, exactly. You should be ready to tap at all times. Be mindful of your tap. Be mindful, please. This is your friend. You know, tapping is your friend. There's many times where I'm like, yeah, that doesn't feel right. I'm tapping. You know, even if it's a position where it's like, okay, they got that good. I don't want to even work out of this because I know where they're going. They're getting a little aggressive. I'm just going to tap. That I tap in just a if I don't like the way a transition is going, and I feel that it's going to compromise my neck, the safety of my neck. It's going to compromise the safety of one of my joints, like a knee. My knee's twisting kind of weird. I'm tapping. Okay. We're resetting.
I think a lot of the problem
it doesn't work.
I think a lot of the problem that, I mean, even the context of that question, yeah. After 20 years of jiu-jitsu, I've tapped millions of times. Yeah. Still do occasionally if I ever roll. Part of the context of that thing is, how do I deal with the bigger, stronger guys? You learn from it. That's how you deal with it. You learn from it. Yeah, tapping is your friend, as you said, Brian. I think it's come to a sort of part of the grappling culture now that instead of tapping and learning from it and stuff like that it's like so ego-driven. And as I say, that's why I say there's no gold medals in training. It's like, oh, I keep losing at training. Well, no, you're not losing at training. There's no, and same as the other person's not winning at training. You're training. There is no, it's not a competition. Yeah, and it sounds really, you know, like, oh, that's the perfect thing. It's like the old belts don't matter and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's a cliche thing. But if more people took it for what it was, as an actual truth of training, that you should be able to roll with anyone in the gym and tap them, they tap you, have a laugh about it. You know, I don't get what the problem is. You know, if more people did it like that, there'd be far less injuries. You'd probably have a far less attrition rate in students, especially once they get to blue belt, because they've got a blue belt and they think they know something now. And then they don't want to tap to anybody, especially white belts. You know, they've got that ego, that blue belt ego thing going. I see more blue belts get injured and leave than anybody else by white belts.
Yeah.
because the blue belt isn't that far above him technically. Yeah, but he's got the ego that's gone through the roof. And so he refuses to tap to a white belt who's basically the same level as him. There's not much difference. And they get injured. And then it's like, this is crap. I'm not going back. And the blue belt blues kick in and off they go. They disappear. You never see them again. I mean, it happens that often that there's actual sayings about the blue belt. Yeah, you get your blue belt and you never see them again. It's so common. And that's why. It's because they get a blue belt. They think they're better than the white belts now, so they can't tap to them because they're a belt up. Not realising that, they've got a different coloured belt and their skill set should be better, but not by much. You know, you're still going to get caught by good white belts. You know, it's just the truth. This white belt may be 2 months off his blue belt and you got your blue belt last month. That's a month different between you. But because you're a blue belt, you won't tap to his submission. Are you serious? He's going to break your arm. It's crazy to me, you know. And I guess, look, as much as I like to say, all things being equal and all that sort of stuff, and give jiu-jitsu a bit of a razz, I think what it comes down to is dealing with bigger, younger training partners. You would hope that the gym you're in produces a culture of respect. Yeah, where those bigger, younger guys aren't trying to rip the head off smaller, older guys. You know, you would hope that they give the smaller guy who they can muscle around an opportunity to work. I know I do, yeah. I'm 6'1" and 220, right, and a black belt and a wrestler. I don't get 150-pound, 160-pound guys in my gym and just maul them because I can. Yeah, just because they're a white belt or a blue belt doesn't mean I just maul them because I can. Yeah, everybody in my gym has tapped me. Everybody, at some point. Every single person, even as a black belt. My white belts have tapped me. Why? Because I give them the opportunity to work. Is that meaning they're beating me in a fight? Well, no. Of course not. But does it mean that they've learned how to do that technique now under a bit of pressure with a bit of technical resistance? Yes, it does. Does it bother me that I tapped to a white belt in a training situation? Not in the slightest. I've actually posted on the internet a video of myself getting tapped by a white belt. Was it in a serious competition match? No. Was it a serious MMA fight? No. Was it a training session where I was trying to instill in them the ability to work that technique while someone is technically resisting? And I don't mean just flopping around and using strength. I mean technically resisting, trying to escape it. Yeah, it's about teaching and learning. Even white belts with white belts should be learning from each other. Maybe they don't have the technical skill. One's bigger, one's younger, one's stronger. One's older, one's weaker, one's smaller. Okay, but he's going to be quicker. So the younger guy should learn about all the little finesse and jumping around that this guy can do. He should learn how to deal with it. The older guy should learn how to deal with strength. What works for me? What can I do? And 100% I agree with you. Hand fighting, yeah. If you don't let someone grab you, they can't really control you. But I guess the big thing is for any opponent in the hand fighting thing is don't let them control your head. If you don't let them control your head, it's very rare that you're going to get easily mauled because you will still have the opportunity with head movement. I can move my head, I can move my shoulders. It means I can move my hips and get my legs in. Yeah, it's just the spinal cord, the spinal column. I move this one, they all sort of move. You know, it's like a domino effect. Once you let this get held, It's the old saying where the head goes, the body follows. If it's pinned to the mat, so's the rest of the body. Learn to not let them grip. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I guess it would depend on the culture of the gym, you know, and how the people are that he's wrestling. If they're dicks, bigger, younger dicks who look at him as a smaller, older guy and an opportunity to beat him up, I guess he should learn some dirty tricks and give him a receipt.
Yeah. Okay. So that gets into the last question of the day here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting, because I can answer this two different ways, but I just, this definitely is a white belt asking this question. How long were you into taking class and rolling before you started setting up and attacking with submissions?
What? I don't even understand what he's saying.
So let me put it into context a little bit
Speak
more.
Australian, mate.
Okay. So from a white belt perspective, this is clearly a white belt.
Mm-hmm.
What he's asking is, because he's trying to win, how long into your training, when you start training, are you setting up attacks and submitting people? Because he's looking at it from the perspective of, when I get on the mat, I need to win. I need to be submitting guys. You don't know anything yet.
Well, I guess
So,
exactly right. I guess in that context, and thanks for explaining that. Yeah, I'm a bit slow sometimes. In that context, I sort of look and go, well, if how long into your training, in the exclamation points or whatever it's called, tells me that you're not very long into your training. So I would suggest possibly learn some submissions and how to do them before you even think about trying to set up for them. And I guess it goes down to that old thing of how your gym or your school or your coaches sort of look at each belt grade and sort of thing. Because I know for me, white belt, the difference between white belt and blue belt for me, is white belt are all about surviving. That's all they want to do. Yeah, and they spaz out to survive. They're just trying to survive. That's all they want to do on a mat. I look at it and go, for me, you become a blue belt when you become very comfortable being uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I look at it. If I put you into bad positions, you're not panicking trying to survive. Yeah, you're starting to look for a way to work out of it and a technical escape and that using the technique and using good jiu-jitsu to get out of those bad positions without the panic. That's what I consider a blue belt level. Yeah, that's what it is to me. When you can be comfortable enough in shitty positions to be technical or try to be as technical as you can be at that level. Once that panic stops and that survival mode and the spazziness stops, that's where I start going, oh, cool, you're probably at that blue belt level. And so for me, I look and go, what separates blue belt from purple belt? A blue belt is now comfortable in shitty positions. A purple belt starts setting up things from those shitty positions. Yeah, a blue belt is comfortable in it. A purple belt starts utilising it to their advantage. Yeah, that's your separation between white, blue and purple for me. So if he was to come to my gym, at what point in his training would he start really working to set up submissions technically? And probably purple belt, so you got a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. That's just the way I do it.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more, because I make this joke all the time, but it was true. The room that I was in back in the day, the garage, there was there was no opportunity for me to realistically be setting up attacks and submissions with the room I was in. It took me 10 years to go from white to purple. I've made this very, very clear. I didn't start setting up attacks and submissions until I was a purple belt. I was in a room full of killers. Okay. So I had to learn number one, I had to learn the language, had to learn the vocabulary of jiu-jitsu. That takes time. Then I have to learn how to put the words into sentences. That's my blue belt phase. Right? That takes time. Then to start articulating into what I call paragraphs of writing. So I have cohesive thoughts, sections of cohesive thoughts. That's purple belt. That's, it's really at the end of the day, that should be purple belt. You should be, especially in your beginning phases, your first sections, really focus on mastering your concepts and your mechanics, developing your vocabulary. Now, that doesn't mean you're not drilling what's an arm bar, what's a triangle, what's an ankle lock, what's a Kimura, double wrist lock, whatever you want to call it, top wrist lock. It doesn't mean you're not developing, okay, here's how you set up a collar choke. But if you think that you're going in onto the mat and you're 3 months in and you're like going, how come I'm not submitting these guys? What the fuck, man?
Basically, yeah. And it's as you say, yeah.
Put your time on the mat.
Yeah, it's as you say. It's right there. Like, this is from two black belts, different sides of the world who have their own club, affiliated clubs and partner clubs and all that sort of stuff. But this is something that you and I, Brian, even as partner clubs and joined together, the PCI Death Roll, we've never really discussed that about what we think, and yet we both come to the same conclusion that sort of stuff that you're talking about is purple belt. That's why purple belt, in my book, purple belt is the most important belt and should be the hardest to get.
I agree. Yeah.
Like that's, and in my school with gradings and that's what it is. Purple belt is the hardest to get. Because I need to see from that.
Absolutely.
That blue belt, I'm comfortable here. Yeah, which is, as you say, is sentences. I know what this is. But then I need you to tell me in the paragraph form, as you say, using your analogy, the paragraph form, I need you to tell me what to do with it now that you know what it is. I want to see, so this is a fork. So white belt, fork. Yeah, blue belt, this is a fork. Purple belt, I use a fork to scoop food or stab food, and I can put it into my mouth, masticate it, swallow it, and I can take more with the fork. Yeah. Then you go brown belt, I'll use a knife as well. Yeah. Black belt, I know what all those things are on a flash dinner table and what each fork is for. Yeah. You use that analogy. That's what it's like. Until you get into purple belt, you're not setting up anything. Yeah. In my opinion, and even in my experience, when I was a white belt and a blue belt, anytime I submitted someone, it was fluke.
Absolutely.
It was just fluke. They put their arm there or they put something, and I just threw my legs up and go, oh, maybe this, and it worked. It's fluke. You didn't set it up. Yeah. The other person made a mistake and you took advantage of it. Yeah, it was fluke. They fell into it. And people might get pissed at that. I don't care. That's my thoughts on it. You are not consciously taking steps to set up a certain submission until purple belt.
Yeah. It's a lot of it also is just that maturity. Now, I will say this, and this is the rare caveat. Okay. I have to really articulate this. I have to put this very, very clearly because somebody thinks that what I'm about to say, it means it includes them. What I'm about to say, it does not include you. This includes the likes of a Gable Stevenson or a Travis Stevens or, a Ronda Rousey, a Kayla Harrison, a very high level grappler from a different art. Yeah, you have a white belt. You're a white belt in jiu-jitsu. That person is going to be setting up their attacks and submissions basically from day one because they have a level of experience and understanding that is light years beyond you. There's a reason why Travis Stevens literally is the fastest jiu-jitsu black belt, I think, in the history, 18 months. Why? Because he was already a fucking Olympic silver medalist in judo before he was refining his newaza. He was not ignorant to newaza, his ground game. Before he was refining his newaza, he was already at the top, the highest level you can get. Or if Gable Stevenson, an Olympic gold medalist, is coming in, right? Or Kayla, an Olympic gold medalist, is coming in. Or Ronda Rousey, who's been doing arm bars since she was 3 years old. Okay? They're setting up their attacks from day one because their grappling is at the highest level of grappling. So that last percentage point, they're doing it from day one. That's not you, the listener.
No, it's not. And
so that's the only caveat I give to that.
Yeah, and I will use the same thing. We talked about it before. Mark Schultz. Yeah. Never done jiu-jitsu before. Still went half an hour with Hickson.
Yeah, and wrapped him up.
You know, and you go.
They didn't start.
teach that guy some submissions. Of course he's going to be a black belt level. Like that, you know, same as you say, Travis Stevens.
Within a week. Yeah.
Ronda Rousey, you know, teaching basic submissions. And I mean, Ronda and Travis were both doing submissions anyway through Newaza. Sure. But I'm talking wrestlers, top wrestlers. Yeah. Dan Gable, Mark Schultz, any of the Jordan Burroughs for that matter. You know, teach them how to submit someone, teach them a couple of submission holds.
Yeah.
They're going to eat everybody in the freaking room. Black belt or not.
Yeah. Within days, if not hours.
Yeah. Just teach them how to do an Americana. Just teach them just an Americana. So here's an Americana or here's a head and arm choke. There you go. There's your two submissions.
They'll get on everybody.
It's black belts or not, doesn't matter.
No. But again, that's why I'm saying that is the difference. Exception where what Adam and I are saying, they're already at a level of grappling mastery that, number one, you did not achieve, you the average listener, and number two, you will never achieve. And I'm not saying that to be mean.
As I won't. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm not Mark Schultz. I'm not Hagen Machado. I'm none of these guys. I'm not Josh Barnett.
No.
I'm just your average bloke from Australia that trained a lot and learnt to grapple and wrestle. Same as you, Brian, in the States. You know, we got to, as you like to say, we got our ass kicked by really good guys and learnt to get better at kicking some asses occasionally. You know, we are including ourselves with you, the listener. We are not in that elite class. We are not Kayla Harrisons. We're not Ronda Rousey. Not Mark Schultz's. Not Dan Gables. We're not Travis Stevens. We are not those guys, as you guys listeners aren't. No. So, like us, you guys have to stick at the slog. Yeah, put in the hours on the mat. Put in the years to the game that you're doing, and it all happens. Yeah, it all comes into place and stuff. But none of us are ever going to do it like those guys do it, and that's a fact. The sooner you realise that, the better off we'll all be.
No. Yeah, and the better you're going to get. Mm-hmm. You will get better quicker once you understand that and just put the time and the commitment in and the hours and the years. Mm-hmm. You cannot shortcut by watching a YouTube video of a technique.
No, you can't.
You're going to get it on people. We've seen it where we've seen guys where all of a sudden they're teaching submissions and they have no business teaching a submission and they're showing stuff online. Mm-hmm. Me and Adam were just laughing about it the other day.
Yes.
I'm not going to name any names. But we see, see it.
The thing that we were laughing about is just, it was so ridiculous. It's not funny. And it's an example of someone not putting in the work. And this is what we're talking about. Yeah? You're not putting in the work. You're not putting in the time. There's no shortcuts. Yeah. If you're not one of those elite athletes that we mentioned, which we're not, and I'm pretty sure most of the listeners, except for Mark, who probably listens because he's a friend of mine. But aside from that, we're not those guys. You know, and the average listener who's listening to this doing jiu-jitsu or doing wrestling and stuff is not one of those guys either. So don't put too high expectations on yourself immediately. Just because that guy does it doesn't mean we're going to do it. It just doesn't.
Right.
And sooner.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, you just got to understand that those guys are phenoms. Yeah, they're phenomenal athletes at what they do, and it's a very easy transition for them. The rest of us, we have to grind. That's what it's about. We have to grind. We have to work. We have to put in the time. You have to get bashed. You have to get smashed. You have to get, destroyed by savages until you get to a space where you hold your own with the savages. That's what it is.
I think the percentage rate is 1% that start jiu-jitsu ever make it to black belt. I think it's 1%.
Yeah, I think it's less than 1 actually.
So if you're in that phase where, let's say it's less than 1%. But let's just round it up to 1%, just for math, because I'm horrible at math.
Me too.
It's less than 1%. Let's be generous and say 1%. So 99% of you are never even going to get to black belt. Sorry. It is what it is. Obviously, this show is created to get you there. And if you're listening, you should be taking notes every week. Now, let's say you're a 1%er. As 1%ers, and this is us being honest, it does not put us in the category of the 1% of 1%, which are these people that we're talking about. Okay? Mm-hmm. To be an elite athlete, to be an elite grappler at that level that are transitioning, and especially we're talking about these transition athletes that are then come into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Jiu-Jitsu, I'll just use the term Jiu-Jitsu, that came from judo or wrestling or sambo. You're not them. You're never going to be them. Do not compare yourself. Okay? These are people that have dedicated their lives to that particular sport or art. And they are such masters that, yes, they can pick something up in a matter of hours or a matter of a couple of days, and they will kick the shit out of everybody in the room. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what color belt. And you'll have them where they're like, so-and-so is still a blue belt. I mean, I think, I don't know if he still trains or whatever. How many years was it before somebody Comprito put a purple belt around Brock Lesnar? Do you really think you stand a chance against Brock Lesnar, the purple belt?
It's like the
Brock Lesnar, the blue belt?
It's the funny thing that I look at, and there was a thing on Facebook. It was a little meme where the coach goes, "Oh, you're only going to train with white belts today," and then the white belts that he puts in front of you is Habib and Hamzat. And there's pictures of him, Habib and Hamzat, like that with their white belts on. And he goes, "You're only going to train with white belts today," and then the picture is of the white belts. Because it's true. In jiu-jitsu, they make them wear white belts. I guarantee you, in that class, they wipe the floor with the black belts as well. Guaranteed.
Bo Nickel's a blue belt. Yeah. Let's put this also, again, let's put into context somebody that is a current UFC top-tier fighter and an outstanding wrestler. Bo Nickel is a blue belt. I don't care who you are. None of you have a chance against Bo Nickel, the blue belt. Sorry.
Just how it is.
Hate to burst your bubble.
Just how it is. There's nothing else to say. That's just how it is.
I'm sorry.
And people don't like it. People don't want to hear that. But it's true. It's true. Be realistic.
That ego.
The best you can do.
I can get him. I can get him.
Pig's ass. Yeah, I'm a black belt. He's only a blue belt. Enjoy. Have fun. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. I guess it's the whole is be realistic. The best advice I can give to any grappler that's starting out, be realistic and be the best that you can be as a grappler. That's it. All you can do is the best you can be as a grappler. Put in the time, put in the effort, put in the grind. You'll become one of the 1%. Will you become one of the 0.001% that can do whatever the hell they want in grappling? No. No, you won't. And if you sit there and think that you're going to, probably not going to manifest, and you'll probably be in for a bit of disappointment. Don't get me wrong. In the future generations coming up that are white belts now as kids, there could be another Mark Schultz, there could be another Kayla Harrison, there could be another whoever you want to call, another BJ Penn phenom type thing, that started literally with jiu-jitsu and really took to it. I'm sure there's going to be. Look at the Ruotolo brothers. Yeah, they're that sort of next generation. Yeah. That's that next generation of phenoms. Are we all going to be phenoms? No, we're not. Just be the best that you can be. And if it so happens that the best you can be is on that level, dude, I'll be here watching you clap and going, wow, you're amazing. Yeah, when you get there. But if not, just be thankful that you stuck the grind, you got your black belt, and you're doing your thing. That's basically it.
Just stick to it.
Yeah, stick to it and be the best you can be. What you
never
do.
Compare yourself. Don't ever compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to others.
That's the big name guys that we're talking about, guys and girls, I should say, the big name people that we're talking about, but also people in your gym. Mm-hmm. He beat me.
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't. He taught you something. I remember back, and this is like to sort of wrap it up a bit to get to the end of this. I remember back in judo, when I was learning judo from my instructor, who was posthumously awarded his 10th Dan recently. When he was, because he passed away, when he was alive, he was an actual 9th Dan in judo. Very old school guy, yeah. He would literally punish us if we got tapped by someone and didn't thank them for tapping us.
Wow.
He would say, you thank that person because they've taught you a weakness. They've shown you somewhere where you need to improve. You should thank them for that education. And when you do it to them, they should be thanking you. And if they don't, they will deal with me. And if that culture
was brought back, I love that.
If that culture was brought back, and in my gym, when we do jiu-jitsu or submission wrestling here, even catch wrestling, I tell all my students, if they get tapped, they have to thank the person who tapped them for showing them. And I still stick to that nowadays. If that culture went back to a lot of submission grappling schools in general, that would knock the ego straight out of that gym. It would change the narrative in people's minds. I'm not getting beaten, I'm getting shown. Thanks for showing me that. I really appreciate it. Let's work on it. How did you get me? That's what's going to improve your grappling. And even now, to this day, in my gym, that's what happens. And when we do that sort of play rolling, when I'm helping my lower belts get submissions on me, and when they get it, I'll tap. And I will thank them for tapping me and showing me. It doesn't hurt. Trust me, guys, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to tap to a lower belt. It doesn't hurt to thank them for showing you a weakness, even though it's not real. Yeah, we all know the black belt's going to smash the white belt. It's just how it is, unless, as we were talking about there, Mark Schultz, Habib, Hamzat, Bo Nickel. Yeah. Most, aside from those phenoms, most of the time the black belt is going to destroy the white belt. Okay, if they want to. But even though I roll softer, slower, and let the white belts get submissions and tap to them, I will still thank them, because it instills in them the idea that, wow, even the black belts will thank us. It negates ego in the gym. It really does.
Absolutely. I love that. I'm going to start implementing that. I love that. Thank you. Say thank you after the tap. Mm-hmm. That's great.
It's so good, dude. It just changes the dynamic and the narrative in the gym so much.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, I'm adding that. Well, I'm still looking for a place to be coaching out of on a regular basis. So I'm telling you, anybody in Orange County that's listening to this, Coach Bryan needs a new building, a new home. I don't care. It could be a karate school, a jiu-jitsu school, a high school wrestling team that needs an assistant coach. hit me up, please. Most of the training right now we're just doing in my garage, but it's a little tight. So I'd like to be in a bigger space so that I can start doing more clinics and seminars. I'm also available anywhere you guys are at for stuff. If you're a high school wrestling team, happy to come out and do seminars free of charge. So all of my clinics for high school wrestling teams are free of charge. You can always have me come out. Happy to do it and add some spice to your game.
So please,
And
somebody
take
give
notes,
him,
guys.
please somebody give him a space so that when I come to the States next year, I've got somewhere to beat you all up.
We'll get it. We'll get it soon enough. All right, this was great. We are out of here.